Do you also find that as you get older, you look for different things in love? When you're younger, it might be more about looks or status
excitement,
or excitement.
Yeah.
And when you get older, you look for a similar soul, someone who understands
What
you.
is all I really, really wanted is people that I'm aligned with,
Yes.
like fully aligned with. And like, I think any authentic human being can love any authentic human being. And I think that alignment is just like that ingredient, and it's just the timing. And if you find someone that is fully aligned with you and you're on the same path, yeah, great. Of course I would be in a relationship with that person if they felt the same way as me. I haven't quite found that yet.
It's coming.
I think so. I think so. But also, like, okay if it doesn't. Like, I've made peace with the fact that maybe, I think you have to make peace with the fact that you might not be with someone. You might love lots of people and different people at different times, but you might not have one partner. And that's been something quite hard to accept, but it's necessary. And I think when you start accepting that, that's when love like probably comes in.
When you don't look for it and you're happy with yourself and you're living life, that's when it comes out of the blue.
I think so. But again, I'm not worried about it. I used to be so worried about it. I used to be so like, oh God, am I going to be alone? And then when I realized that being alone is actually like the most powerful thing, and I think that's where my awakening lied. So I would never have found that if I was in a relationship. So I'm like very grateful that mine didn't work out. I'm very grateful that the love was painful and that the things were toxic or unhealthy, because they've led me to solitude, which has led me to me.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be me without the solitude.
I read a quote just yesterday. First it pains you, then it changes you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's so true.
That's so true.
Where you're almost grateful for the pain years later.
100%. Like, I forgive, and I hope that everyone forgives me that hurt me or I hurt. I hope that, because without these little things, there's no way that I would have gone through what I've gone through, mentally and spiritually.
And it's also about forgiving yourself.
Yeah, which is a hard one, by the way.
It is the hardest.
I find that the hardest thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it sucks. It's like you've done things in life. I'm trying to reach out actually to people, anyone that I've ever wronged or
that is really powerful.
I'm trying to do that now, and I've sent a couple messages just being like, I'm really sorry for anything I ever did when we were younger and I was ignorant.
Because, I've done that as well. Yeah, it really relieves the weight of it.
Yeah, and also they remember most of the time. Some people don't, but if you have been a little shit, it's good to call yourself out, and it's good to end that ignorance and apologize, because that's also freeing for you, right? It's freeing for them and it's freeing for you.
It may mean more to them than they let on.
100%.
To get a call out of the blue years later.
Yeah.
And have closure about something that happened or something you did, or even if it was unintentional.
Yeah.
There's an exercise that one of the previous podcast guests, he literally made a list of every single person that he has wronged or has had any conflict with, and he went and found as all of them, as many as he could.
Yeah.
And one of them was a lady he found who didn't even remember
who he was.
It was so long ago.
Yeah.
And she was a bit older and, was maybe just forgetful. And she's like, oh, well, you seem like a perfectly nice gentleman. I'm sure whatever you did wasn't that bad. And so it's just funny but it still is worth it to go and find everyone or as many people that are on your mind. And they'll come up on mushroom trips for me as well.
Oh, massively.
I'll be
like, their faces.
I've got to call that person.
Yeah, do you know in that scene in Harry Potter when at the end when he's killing Voldemort?
Yeah.
And when the people come into his loved ones come into his psyche, right?
Yes.
I actually feel that happens to me on mushrooms quite a lot, and it happened to me in my Vipassana. I envisioned some family members and some people I loved were with me, and they were like, keep going. It was very a Harry Potter-esque moment, and I was like, oh God, this is crazy. And then sometimes that happens to me when people I've hurt or hurt me, they come up in my brain, and I see their face quite clearly, and I forgive them in that realm. But it would be nice to forgive them in the physical world too, because or apologize, because I think. Yeah, I just think it's quite necessary, even if they don't remember who you are. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Are there situations or people where you found it hard to forgive them because it was so painful, or you feel like they never properly owned up to it?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. No.
What changed?
Ego. Yeah. Ego.
So you think if someone can't forgive someone, it's their ego blocking them?
I do think so.
Not actually the other person.
I do think so. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. There's probably maybe some other reasons. Actually, not actually, no, because then there's abuse, isn't there? There's violence, and that's quite hard. Quite hard. I've never experienced severe violence, so I don't know about that one. I can't vouch for it. But I reckon that would be incredibly difficult to overcome. But I guess it's the forgiving for you, right? It's like when you hold on to a bad negative thought, it's energy. It creates energy in your mind. So it's important to release that karmic umbilical cord.
Yeah.
It's like an umbilical cord, an energetic umbilical cord you have with that person. You need to cut it.
Yes.
And to cut it, you have to forgive them.
Yes.
Because they have power over you.
Yes.
They have power over you, I think. If you haven't forgave them.